What's up, Canada? This is Etienne from Signatures, and I'm just checking in on you. How are you? Do you know what day it is today? It is Monday, May 4th. Don't make me say it. I don't want to say it. All right, fine. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day to all the Lukes and Leias out there. And happy birthday to my favorite visual artist of all time, Keith Haring. How fun was our episode on Friday? A huge thanks to Francine and Kenzie, our very own Signatures crew, for joining us on the program. You know, I have the privilege of speaking with them almost every day for work purposes, but it was a really good time, sort of having an off-the-cuff video chat with them. We had a lot of fun. They were both awesome guests, and they are both awesome colleagues and friends. And as a reminder, you can catch all previous episodes of Just Checking In on our YouTube channel by tapping the link in our bio. Carol, thank you so much for saying that you love the hat. We might have one in stock just for you. Today's guest is an absolute beauty in every sense of the word. Whenever I'm working a show and need a pick-me-up, I walk by her booth because she's always got something positive to say. The one and only Lisa Chocholik is joining us on the program. So let's bring her on now. Lisa.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Can you hear me and see me well?
I can. Yes. Excellent. You look handsome.
Oh, thank you. You look beautiful as well.
Oh, thank you.
So, first thing I
wished I had a Signatures hat on.
Well, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll probably get one out to you soon. I want to ask you, Lisa, because you're in Chestermere right now, correct?
Yeah.
So that's about what, 3.5 hours from Edmonton?
3 hours.
Did you guys get pelted with snow last night?
No. But rain.
I have a broken tree on the front yard right now because the snow was so heavy last night.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry.
One thing I'm learning about living in Alberta is never put away your winter boots.
Yeah. It's like a curse. You do that and then it snows the next day and you feel like you're personally responsible for the snow. So
yeah, lessons learned. So Lisa, all things considered, how are you doing these days?
I think we're doing really well. Spending a lot of time, of course, at home with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And all in all, I'd give them an A grade. I think that they're doing well with it. We're all staying positive. And of course, we're hearing stories and stories about how much time people are spending together, the quality of it. And there's no exception here at home for us. We're having a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, last night you talked about the weather. We set up the tent in the backyard. And they were going to sleep in there for a second night, but it just was too rainy and cold. So,
bad.
Yeah,
that's great. We are pals on Facebook, and I just love seeing your proud mom posts because they come in almost on a daily basis.
I'm doing #upside.
I do love that.
We're all in this storm together, and we may not be in the same boat. But we're all in the storm together, and I just like to post the upside of it. You'll never see a downside post because the downsides are my house can be blown up and toys and stuff everywhere, but that's all part of it.
Lovely. So what would you say has surprised you the most from your two children during this whole pandemic?
What surprised me the most is being at home with them more often, like all the time. I'm expecting them to pitch in a lot more, right? I mean, normally they would go off to school, I would take care of the dishes, that sort of thing. But now I'm just like, okay, guys, you see what needs to be done in order for the house to stay running smoothly. You need to pitch in. And I'm really surprised that there hasn't been a lot of pushback. That for the most part, they're just like, okay, and then they do it. And you ask them to do the dishes. Sometimes you have to rewash a few things afterwards, but at least they're doing their best.
That's very cool. And I noticed that they were doing self-directed learning recently. How's that been going?
Well, I think my post I put on Facebook was that Sam wants to do her homework because she is motivated by staying in the same grade as the rest of her friends. So socialness to her is really important. Jace is definitely pushing back about his homework and stuff. He's just like, why? What's the point, sort of thing. So that's where I started looking up self-directed learning, and we're just doing a few things. So one of my upside posts was, Jace taking apart all his remote control cars. He wants to know what makes it work. That's an interest of his. So I figured he learned something that day. Another one of my upside posts were the kids outside. Ugh, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but they were building a pool in the front driveway, and they started out with 2x4s that they found and a big black tarp, and it really didn't, well, it worked out to a degree, but again, they were learning about everything from teamwork to construction to keeping things level, that sort of stuff. So the self-directed learning it's going pretty well. But I still need to figure out a way to encourage him or to get him more excited about these subjects that the teachers would like him to do.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing battle in this house too. How is it? Because I've noticed that they're like super creative children. Does that just come natural to them?
I guess so. Yeah. 10 years ago, I would have told you I don't have a creative bone in my body. So creativity is something that you nurture, and if it's not a forced thing, then it just sort of comes about a little bit more naturally. So my daughter Sam, her creativity sometimes makes me crazy because it's not tidy creativity. And I used to say to her, "Okay, Sam, it's time for you to clean up your mess." And now I thought, well, that doesn't sound very positive. So then we would say, okay, Sam, it's time for you to clean up your creativeness type of thing. So
whatever works.
Yeah.
And how's Jim doing?
Jim's doing great. He has been my business partner for 10 years, but we had a few slow years. And so to be financially responsible or fiscally responsible, he chose to start a job besides doing La Chik. And he has been proudly working for Canada Post now for over a year.
Nice.
He walks anywhere from 15 to 30 kilometers a day. In 1 year, he dropped 45 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and then adding to his regiment of just being so fit, he does 100 push-ups a day and 100 sit-ups a day. So very inspiring.
Cool. Very inspiring.
Yeah.
And big shout out to all the unsung heroes at Canada Post.
Yes.
Would it be too much to ask you, like, what's the vibe over there these days? Is it more stressful than usual?
No, he hasn't said that it's been stressful. A lot more parcels being delivered, that makes sense, and a lot less mail being delivered, right? So, but all in all, they changed a few things to keep it safe. They staggered their start time, so there's not as many people in the depot sorting mail at the beginning of the day. But all in all, he's feeling pretty good about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
And we send our love out to Jim and the kids.
Yeah.
It's sort of weird, not seeing some familiar faces at the spring shows this year.
It is so weird. So weird.
Were canceled. Yeah. Let's talk La Chik for a moment, because you just mentioned that it's been 10 years since you've been in business. Like, how did
10
you
years.
How did you get that started?
How did I get it started? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
I started making these resin pendants. Resin was a medium I had never worked with, and again, didn't really think I was all that terribly creative. But I started making these pendants, and they were very much one of a kind. I used to put just some of the weirdest things in there: Fruit Loops, chiclets, buttons, beads.
That's creative.
Nuts and bolts that I would find in the garage type of thing. And they were these big chunky pendants, and just did little shows, just little table shows. And a lady changed my life. She said to me one day, "You know what you should do? You should make belt buckles." And I smiled at her and I said, "Oh, what a great idea." And in my mind, I thought, belt buckles, I'm from Calgary. There's a stampede here. I don't even wear belt buckles. Yeah. But her voice went through my head for a full year. "You should make belt buckles. You should make belt buckles." So I made my first belt buckle. I still have it. It's terrible. There was all sorts of bubbles in it. But I just took a photo of some flowers from my garden, put it in the buckle blank and put the resin on it. And at that time, I didn't really know how to deal with the bubbles. But over time, of course, you fine tune your process. And yeah, then I would go to the scrapbook store and I would buy scrapbook paper and I would cut it. I would hand cut it to fit these buckles, and then again refine my process. So that's how it started. Then the belts and buckles was the only thing that La Chik did. And Jim, my husband, of course, you mentioned him, he was wearing the belts and buckles to the golf course. Some of his golfing buddies said, "Hey, what you got there?" And they wanted them. And at that time, Anthony Kim, who was a famous golfer, or well-known golfer, was wearing lots of belts and buckles. So then we started making the buckles for the golfers. Golfers like everything to match, so we did a divot tool and a hat clip with the matching ball marker. And from there, that became the necklace, the bracelet, and the ring. So that's Beautiful. How it all started.
I love that it was sort of this one tiny little spark.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, a mention by some lady. My question, have you seen that lady since?
No.
Does she know that how
no
responsible
idea.
she is?
I always said that if I could track her down, I don't know what I would do. I mean, you know, dinner or just something to say, hey, you know what, you changed the course of my life, basically.
That's so great. The unsung heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And when people come in my booth and, you know, they want to give me ideas and stuff on it, I'm always so open to it, because I think, you know, look what came from just one lady saying, you know what, you should make belt buckles. So yeah, love it when my customers give me ideas.
Do you remember your first big signature show?
Okay. Well, the one that I really remember was, okay, so in Sherwood Park, when it used to be held at that school.
Okay, that was before my time.
Okay, so they've changed, they went away from that show. Signatures went away, and then now they've got it back at a bigger venue. But it was at this little school, and I don't remember the name of it. Jan, it was crazy. I mean, I had women lined up in front of and at that point it was just a 10 by 10 booth with just a table. Yeah. And I was sweating because women were just pointing out they wanted that color belt and they wanted that buckle, and it was so much fun. And I started joking around saying, you know, due to the popularity of my product, the prices are going up, and having fun with my customers that way. But yeah, I remember that very first one, and I thought, wow, like, people really like this stuff. So that was exciting.
So cool. In the comment section, I don't know if you can see Lisa, but
I got to put my glasses on to see him.
Peter is reminding us that it was at Bev Facey High School.
Bev Facey, yes. Thank you, Peter. Yeah.
And Francine was saying it was the Touch of Talent show, and that she remembers it as well.
Yeah, it was the Touch of Talent. That's right. Yeah.
How much do you miss that artisan community these days?
Those guys are all crazy. I love them. I do. They're like family, right? Yeah. And you walk in and you're like, hey, and hey, and hey, and I mean, I don't know what kind of reputation I have, but apparently I've been told I'm chatty. So normally I come in and I'm already half an hour before I even get to my booth, because I'm stopping and saying hi to this person. But because you're genuinely excited to see these people, right? It's always been about 6 months since you've seen them, and
There's the bad chatty where you can't get out of a conversation, but you're the opposite of that, Lisa. You're like the good kind of chatty.
Well, thank you. I'm sure I've got some stories that go on a little bit too long, but I do love to chat.
For sure. Do you want to take a look at some of the questions that were sent in? Because we got a few.
Okay, what do I do to do that?
I'm going to pull them up.
Okay.
All right, so talking about the artisan community, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss Dave?
I miss Dave. Take the dash out from the 1 to 10. I miss Dave 110.
I love that.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Dave and Tracy. I was chatting with Tracy not too long ago by text. She told me that it was coming up to the time of their sheep season.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about that.
I think we should check in with them on this show soon. That would be a good one.
Yeah. Well, did you know that? Do I have to get this thing off the front of the thing or not?
No, you don't
You
have to
see
do
me
anything.
fine? Okay, good. So techie. I'm so
Leave the
techie.
hosting to me.
Uh, um, this would have been our third year as a family,
Mm.
for us to drive to their sheep farm and visit them there. It would have been the
Oh,
third year in a row. So yeah, we're going to miss it this year, but we'll make sure that next year we go again. And what's really fun, my kids enjoy it because we have a rule that out on the farm, they're allowed to use bad words.
yeah,
So they go out there and they say SHIT,
yeah.
all sorts of things, and they think it's great. And then Dave and Tracy they had 2 llamas last year. I think they might have added to that. And my son is obsessed with llamas. So
Yeah,
shout
they're
out to you guys. I miss you.
for sure. It's always funny too when you hear the little ones drop a swear word. It's the funniest thing.
But Sam won't do it. Sam, we've gone out the 2 years that we went with them. We brought their friends with them, so they
Yeah,
were good with it. And Jace loves it, but Sam will not say anything. No, I
it takes.
still can't get her to do it.
That's funny. It takes a while for the innocence to wear off, eh?
Exactly.
All right, next question. Uh, what is a hoo-ha and why do I need to hide it?
Yeah, I'd like to know who sent that in. It's probably Dave again. What's a hoo-ha? Okay, so I have some irreverent marketing signs. I think they're in good taste for my band thing. It's no mo camel toe, hide your hoo-ha, cover your assets, and tights are not pants. And when a customer comes in and says, what's a hoo-ha? I say to them, I don't get paid enough to explain that to you. The best one is when they say, well, what's camel toe? And I say,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you need to ask your friend about that one. So
Do you know
anyways,
the male version of camel toe? Do you know what that's called?
and I can't even say it. Moose something?
Knuckle.
Yeah. Moose knuckles. Ew. Oh,
Okay,
yeah. We have fun with those signs for sure.
for sure. I love your marketing, Lisa. Okay, this question here. How did you feel when you found out Brooke Henderson wore your belt on the LPGA tour? And how did that come about anyway?
That was pretty exciting. So, out at Pritis, they were hosting the CN Open, and Ron Lauer is the pro there. He was a huge supporter right from the beginning, and I was one of 2 vendors invited out to be in the merch tent. So I was in the merch tent, and I would stand sort of near my display because where I'm selling that, I would help people with other stuff too, but there to promote La Chik and what we do. And a lady walked in, and the other vendor was Echo Shoes, and she said to me, Lisa, that's Brooke Henderson's mom. Go and talk to her. So
Nice.
I walked over and said, hello, how are you? And she wanted to buy something for Brooke for her birthday. So she looked at this and she looked at that and a few different things. And when she decided on one that she wanted, I grabbed everything that she looked at, took it up to the front and said, put this on my account. And Brooke's mom was like, oh, no, you can't do that. I said, oh, you know what? You need to get used to people giving your daughter stuff. I said,
Yeah.
all I would like from her is a photo. So after that tournament, I met up with her. I got a photo, and that was it. Like I was just excited with that. And then
Mm-hmm.
the next thing, people were like, "Hey, Lisa, look on TV. She's wearing it." And she wears them. I think 95% of the time she's got on my belt,
That's so
and
cool.
a lot of times the belt and the click buckle. And then it was absolute gold for us when she won the tournament
Mm-hmm.
in Canada, hoisted up the trophy, and you could just see the belt and the buckle. So that was huge for us.
Amazing moment
Yeah,
for Canadian golf and for Lisa.
and for La Chik.
So when you first gave her that first belt, was she still like on the up and up, or was she successful by then?
No, she was just up and coming, just
That's
brand
so
new Canadian. So
so
yeah,
she's taken the belt with her from the ground up.
yeah.
Very cool. Um, I wanted to ask you about your new pendant.
My new pendant.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw the post today. Maybe you want to tell the good people about it.
Well, sure. So anytime there's something that La Chik can sell something and donate the profits to, like, we did a come hell or high water buckle and we donated it for the flooding in Calgary, that kind of thing. We try and do that. Now, this particular instance, I really wasn't sure where to donate the money to. So instead, I came up with the idea of doing a pendant with 2 different clicks, and we call it the Love and Strength pendant, just so that people could buy it and give it to people they knew that were, out there, frontline workers. So basically, we're offering the pendant, the chain, the 2 clicks, plus shipping, all for $15. So that is our basic cost. So we're not donating money to anybody, but we're not making money off of it either. So I've got one right here. That is the 1 click that I designed. And then I'll just very quickly change out the other one. Hope my double chin doesn't show when I'm doing that. And there is the fist one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to sell a few hundred of them. Mm-hmm. It's already going well. I've had companies who, have ordered 10 or 20 of them at a time. And yeah, it's just something little that we can do. I mean, everybody wants to help out in some way, right?
Yeah, for sure. With you and Jim being, entrepreneurs, do you see that spirit within your children as well? Are they hoping to follow in your footsteps?
Well, if you go to Kid Made Lemonade, that is a little business that they started last summer.
Amazing.
Very sweet. They make good money selling lemonade.
Nice.
And they make good lemonade. So I wouldn't say it's really come naturally to them, but I'm sort of fostering it a little bit. I would like to see them do that kind of thing. Sam also started Sweet Sam Sweeties, and they're these little chokers with a love heart leather thing there that can interchange.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I just enjoy what I do. I like the freedom it gives me, just everything about it. So if my kids can have those same experiences, I think that's great. Of course, I want them to be doing what they want to do. But so far, when I've encouraged them that way, they've seemed to respond to it. So yeah,
very
we'll
cool.
see.
We were chatting with Francine on the show on Friday, and we were talking about all the show babies and the show kids that have graced our halls over the years. And
yeah,
who knows, maybe Sam or Jace might end up at a show one day.
I don't think it's going to be a might. I think it will be.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And for those makers out there that might be scared to make the jump to a big show like Signatures, what sort of advice would you offer them?
Do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, I'm trying to think about how I felt when I first took that jump.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like I didn't really belong. I didn't really know anybody. But just, you get your booth set up, you sort of have your head down, you're doing your thing. And then the show opens up and you talk to your neighbor. And then you talk to the guy across from you. And then the next thing you know, you've got 3 or 4 friends kind of thing. You walk around. It doesn't take long until you become part of the family. Mm-hmm. Other vendors will always give you, if let's say your booth is not well lit enough, they'll say, hey, make sure that you've got lighting. It makes such a difference. Every vendor wants the other vendors to do well. It isn't a competition. It's like, no, we're all in this together. Let's have the best booths we can, which therefore becomes the best show that we can. The people come in and everyone is profitable and we have fun. So I think that was just a long way of saying, just do it.
Just do
check it out. Yeah.
One of my favorite phrases that I think was born on social media is community over competition.
Yes, I love that.
I think that rings true at our shows and any other shows.
Yeah.
That about wraps it up for my questions, Lisa. I was wondering, we talked about your new pendant earlier, but for those out there that are still looking to support La Chik, how can they support you these days?
We're completely online.
Awesome. Yeah. So. And what's the website?
www.lachik.com, and La Chik is LACHIK.com. It comes from my name, Lisa Chocholik.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And lastly, this is my favorite part of the show, a reoccurring segment to close it out. I want to ask you, Lisa, in life, in art, and in your heart of hearts, what is your signature?
What is my signature? My signature is encouragement. Plain and simply. Come into my booth, have a chat with me, there's something that you need encouraging, that's just what I do naturally. I like to use encouraging words on my clicks. And someday I've always fantasized that I will stand in front of large masses of people as a public speaker and encouraging them in some way, shape, or form. So, encouragement.
I love it, and thank you for that, Lisa. I was bummed that I wouldn't be able to walk into your booth this spring, so this is the next best thing.
And it was great seeing your face for sure, Etienne. You're so handsome.
Oh, stop. Thank you again for joining us, Lisa. I hope to see you again in the near future, face to face.
Absolutely.
Send my regards to the family. And
awesome.
Thank you to everyone for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I miss you all.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Be safe. Bye.
Bye.